This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle Bauer, and today I'm visiting with Jeff Hutton. He is a meteorologist with NOAA Weather in Dodge City, Kansas, has been there for many, many years. We're talking with him about Kansas weather and Kansas climate.
If you look at a climate database, in other words, the high temperature today, the normal, if you want to call it the normal, and remember, normal is nothing more than an average of extremes, and so the averages that we're taking is a 30-year period. And so right now, the National Climatic Data Center uses the years 1981 to 2010. So whatever happened in that period, 1981 to 2010, that's what we're basing the normal or average off of. So, for instance, let's just look at Dodge City, the April precipitation. So if you go from that period, about 2.25. If you would take a period, let's say 1971 to 1990, or 1971 to 2001, it's going to be different. So yeah, it's kind of a moving average, if you will, but it's based on those periods, 71 to 2001, 81 to 2010, and then soon 1991 to 2020 once we get to that point.
So has the rainfall average changed over the period of the time the National Weather in Dodge City, Kansas? I know we've definitely had dry years and wet years, but is it pretty much the same?
Actually, you see that if you just take a 30-year moving average, it is actually going up a little bit. And there's still ups and downs within that 30-year period,
sure.
But I'm looking at the data right now, and kind of the upward trend again is about when we started the irrigation out in the high plains. So,
well, that's exactly got me to thinking about it. I thought, well, gosh, with all that evapotranspiration, you would think that it would increase rainfall just because there's more moisture in the air that could fall out.
And I think part of that's true, and you can go down in the Panhandle too, where they're doing the irrigation, eastern Colorado, a little bit. But still, you can get a weather system, and it's just strong enough. It doesn't matter. It pushes all that dry air in and shoves the moist air back to the east. And I think we may see a little bit more of that when we come to a stagnant weather pattern during the, let's say, late spring or summer period, where you don't have strong weather systems moving the air around that much. And so we might see, that'd be an interesting thing, I guess, is to check our summer precipitation and see if there's a trend there a little bit.
Well, that's one thing here is in north central Kansas, as we get into those dry months, if we have something coming out of Nebraska, we feel like, well, there's probably a fair chance we're going to get some rain. But if we're not in a dry period and it's coming out of southwest Kansas, it's like, yeah, we're not very hopeful.
Yeah, it's interesting, too. We're at the 100th meridian, so we're 100 degrees west of longitude. So if you go north of us, the average precipitation, let's say up at Norton, is a little bit higher than it is right here. And it's simply because late spring, early summer, the moisture comes up from the Gulf of Mexico, has been sitting around the central plains, is actually brought back into western Nebraska. And so, and then you get into a weather pattern where the flow aloft is from west or northwest to southeast, and that's why the stuff that generates in western Nebraska rolls through your area a lot more readily than it does down to southwestern Kansas. So it's interesting. You go north a little bit, and the annual precipitation is a little bit greater. And I've seen that too, just some of the dryland corn, as you go north towards Hill City from Dodge City, you see a little bit more up in that direction.
Well, we even see it in Clay County, the difference between southern Clay County and northern Clay County. It just seems like Highway 24 is a dividing line. Of course, it's always the other guy who gets a rain. It's never you, right?
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Especially when you need it. Weather and climate variability. Does mankind in the plains
help or hurt? I don't know. I mean, what you'd have to have is a control, and an experiment, you always have a control. And so you have to have where you didn't do anything, so you didn't break out the sod, you didn't plant trees, you didn't have irrigation, and then compare that to what we have now. So because we can't do that, there's no way to ever completely say yes or no to that question. So sure, I'm sure we've got on a micro scale maybe a little bit of contribution, and I think this signal here from when irrigation started, I think that's plausible. Is it 100% guaranteed that's what's happening? No, absolutely not. Can we prove it without uncertainty? No, we can't because we don't have that control. But yeah, maybe we're having a little bit of impact there. Good or bad, I can't really say.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but yet we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we'll be glad to answer it and work with you.